So here we are, and I have my little blackboard. So the writing might be a little messy because I have to use a piece of chalk, and if you've ever used a piece of chalk and a little blackboard, it's kind of hard to do what you want and to control it how you want. So today I'm going to be starting with talking about igneous rock because I have to explain that before I can explain everything else. So my handwriting is poor when I have to write straight up, but igneous rocks. So an igneous rock is formed from lava and magma. How it comes from lava and magma? Well, it's actually quite simple. They come from volcanoes. And you have this magma inside of the volcano. And when enough pressure has built up, it flows out. But when it does this, you get an extrusive igneous rock, which an extrusive igneous rock forms on the exterior of the volcano. That's a good tip to remember it. Now, an extrusive igneous rock cools very, very slowly. Why it cools cools very, very quickly. Why it cools quickly is because it's on the outside and there isn't as much heat and pressure buildup inside to keep it warmed. Like when you bake bread and then you leave it in the oven until people take it, it's keeping it heated, so it takes longer for it to cool down. That's just an example. Now you have over here a little rock that is formed from the lava. It is lava when it comes out from the lava cooling. So let's name him Jim. So you have little Jim here. He has cooled down and he is now a rock. Excuse me. He's now a rock and he's very happy about that. So little Jim, his name's Jim, not Tim. Little Jim is officially a rock. He's very, very happy about that. And he knows that he's an extrusive igneous rock. Now, little things about Tim. Cat. Sorry about that. Little things about Tim is he. Sorry, tired. He has small crystals. So, what does that mean? Does it mean that he has little crystals like this? That's a pretty small crystal, isn't it? No, it's actually quite a large crystal because Mother Earth's scale to ours is quite different. When you think of time periods as well, when I say it cools quickly, I do mean a couple hundred years, if that. It might be 100 or so. So, what would small crystals look like? Well, they would actually be quite invisible. Little Tim here, you actually can't see his crystals, so he doesn't really shine as much as his other friends do. But that's okay, because at least he's still a rock instead of magma. So now, moving on to an intrusive igneous rock. Right away from my example earlier, you can tell that this would be on the interior of a volcano. So some of that magma shoots up and out, but some of it gets stuck inside these little places that form. And over here, rocks form. The rocks that form here are called, yeah, you guessed it, intrusive igneous rocks. So, what these rocks are is they cool a lot slower. Like my example, from all the heat that stays in here, it's a lot harder for them to cool down. So it takes longer for them to form. But that also gives the crystals in them time to form. So, when you think of large crystals, again, you're thinking of something like this. Like a huge crystal that's just formed and it's ginormous. But actually, those huge crystals is what I was talking to you about earlier. They're about this big, and they can be bigger, but anything that can be seen by the naked human eye is a large crystal. If it's microscopic, it's a smaller crystal. Alright, so one more thing about igneous rocks is they are the first type of rock on the earth. There's 3 types of rocks. It obviously can't be metamorphic because that forms from pre-existing rocks. And sedimentary, it takes a while for it to compact and condense and to become sedimentary. Whereas when you have an extrusive igneous rock, it doesn't take as long. So that's why it's the first, which I think is pretty cool. I'll catch you back later when we talk about sedimentary rocks.